Do you know your cost per job? I was talking to a builder about where his leads came from, and he said some referrals and some Meta. And I asked him how Meta was going. He said, yeah, the leads are cheap and that was good. But then I asked him how many pools he closed from them. It was silence. Zero so far. He was tracking the wrong number. And here's the part that stings: the cheapest leads are usually the ones costing you the most. That conversation, I've had it on dozens of calls with pool builders. My name's Connor. I run Crew Marketing, a marketing agency that helps pool builders add 2 to 5 additional pool jobs per month from Google. We help pool companies all across the US generate millions of dollars in pool sales. In almost every one of those conversations, the same thing comes up. The builder is looking at one number to decide if their marketing is working, and it's the wrong one. They're tracking cost per lead. Cheap leads feel like a win, so they think things are fine. But not one of those leads had turned into a pool in the ground. After talking with over 100 pool builders, I've learned that the number that feels good and the number that pays you are not the same number. Cost per lead is the one that every agency loves to report. Cost per job is the one that tells you the truth. So let's break down the difference and why the best builders I work with focus on one of them. So what does cost per lead actually measure? It only is able to measure the cost that it takes to acquire a lead or to acquire a contact. It doesn't know anything about whether that contact will ever buy or that how qualified that lead actually is. Cost per lead feels really good because it's a top of funnel metric. It's the first number that you're going to see impact in when you're making changes to your marketing. And so if that number goes down, it looks and feels like a win. It's an easy number for your business or an agency to report on. Hidden promise that cheap leads are often low intent. They're tire kickers, price shoppers, or just getting ideas. So cheaper often means worse. A lot of times this can be common with meta ads if you're not running proper qualification and nurture sequencing. This is very common with Angie's List or other lead sharing platforms. And if you've done any of those, you know what I'm talking about. It stops measuring at the lead. It's not actually measuring anything to do with the sale. And that's the most important part of the whole journey. You don't get a lead to get a lead, you get a lead to get a job. The trap here is that optimizing for a lower cost per lead can actively hurt you, creating more volume, lower quality, and ultimately more wasted crew time. That pool builder who I was talking to, he had a great cost per lead, but he had 0 pools in the ground. And that's the trap. All that time and money invested into those leads, all for nothing. So what cost per job actually is? It's the total ad spend divided by the total jobs actually close. Not leads, not appointments, these are signed pools. Cost per lead is following the money all the way down from spend, lead, appointment to signed job. This metric tells a more accurate truth because it only gives you credit for leads that actually turn into revenue. The key reframe here is that you're not buying leads, you're buying pool jobs. You're buying closed revenue. Let me show you what I mean. Here we're looking at 2 different builders, Builder A and Builder B. Builder A is optimizing off of cost per lead, and so therefore they're running something like Meta Ads or Angie's Leads. Builder B is optimizing based off cost per job, and he's running something like Google Ads or SEO. So let's take a look at Builder A. Builder A is spending $5,000 on ads, and he's able to acquire 100 leads from something like Meta Ads or Angie's List or some cheap lead platform, and able to get those leads at $50 per lead. So he's getting 100 leads at $50 per lead, totaling $5,000 for his total lead cost. Of those 100 leads, about 50% of them are qualified or real leads. They're either spam, don't remember you, or didn't even know that they had submit on the form. If you've run Meta Ads, you know exactly what I mean. Of those 50 leads that were actually real and they were able to get in contact with, only 30% of them agreed to an appointment and an on-site measure, leaving them with only 15 leads. Since most of these leads were price shoppers and tire kickers from the beginning, only 5% of those 15 leads that they went and did a measure for actually resulted into any revenue, only leaving less than 1 job closed. And so since these people are price shopping other builders, they have to lower their average job value, resulting in about $75,000 in revenue, but with a great cost per lead of $50, but a cost per job of $5,000, leaving them an ROI of profit of about 3.75x. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still good and probably a worthwhile trade, but what we're not considering here is the hidden cost of low quality leads. Their sales team wasted time and money on bad leads. They wasted time and money on tire kicker appointments that were never going to close. They wasted time building designs and quotes for buyers who weren't actually serious and were price shopping 5+ other builders. The Builder B, they're probably using something like Google Ads with a higher quality of lead, a little bit higher intent. And so they also spent $5,000 and got a total of 33 leads at $150 per lead. So 3x the cost in lead costs. Because these leads have high intent and are actively looking for a pool builder, they're able to book appointments at a 50% rate. So Builder B is able to close at a 25% close rate because all his leads are actively looking to build a pool and looking for a builder. And as a result, he closed 4 pool jobs. And because these leads are not shopping based off of price, they're looking for a value, high quality pool builder. They're able to close at an average job value of $110,000, resulting in $440,000 in closed revenue, and then a cost per lead of $150, 3 times the cost of Builder A, but a cost per job of $1,250. And most importantly, an ROI of 22x of profit. And they only had to service a third of the leads, saving 3 times the amount of time as Builder A. When you start optimizing for cost per job over cost per lead, things start to change. Once you know your cost per job works, spending more becomes less scary, and it's just buying more pool jobs profitably. It makes making marketing channel decisions a lot simpler. Google versus Meta gets judged on jobs closed, not which produces cheaper leads. Then you can hold your team and marketing agency accountable for the metric that actually makes you money. Once you understand this key difference, there's a mindset shift. Cheap leads that never close are the most expensive thing you can buy, in money and in time. Now, I feel like I should say this. I'm not saying that you should never run Facebook ads or Facebook ads are always a bad idea. There's always a time and a place for running Facebook ads, but as you see in the illustration, it's fundamentally different. And you have to have a dialed in system for processing a high volume of leads so that you don't waste time and money on leads that are never going to close. If you want to see what your real cost per job is, you can book a call with me and we'll walk through your full lead generation strategy and understand what you're actually paying to get pool jobs. And I'll show you how you can get higher quality, more valuable, easier to close leads from Google. You can click the link in the description to book a call. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video.